based on specialties and skills. Some specialties, particularly those requiring many years of training, became recognized as separate crafts: smith, miner, farmer, fisher, healer, and harper. Levels of skill in a craft were recognized with the old guild appellations: apprentice, journeyman, and master. Each craft had one master elected to preside over all craft affairs: master smith, master miner, master farmer, master fisher, master healer, and master harper. Given the nature of celestial mechanics, after 50 turns the red star moved too far from Pern for thread to fall, and the threat faded away, until 200 turns later when the red star repeated its orbit, beginning a second pass. Again the dragons and their dragon riders rose into the sky to flame the thread into harmless char, and again, as the red star receded 50 turns later, the colonists returned to easier times and spread out to explore the abundance of Pern. After another interval of 200 turns, the pattern repeated, and thread fell again. Toward the end of the second interval, with only 16 turns before the return of the red star, thread, and the beginnings of the third pass, a problem arose for the miners. The people relied on coal. Without coal, particularly the hot-burning anthracite, the master smith would not be able to forge the steel that made the plows the farmers used, rimmed the wheels the traders used, and joined the leather riding gear the Dragonriders used to fly against thread. But by now, the easily acquired coal, the coal that came to the surface in huge open seams, was nearly all mined out. Master Miner Bertel, in his craft hall at Crom Hold, realized that in order to dig deep into the mountains to get new coal, his miners would have to learn anew the old ways of tunneling and shaft mining. Working from ancient survey maps, the master miner identified several promising subterranean coal seams, selected his most promising journeymen, and set them the task of proving new mines. Those that succeeded would be made masters, and their camps would become permanent mines, with all the rank and prosperity associated with a miner holder. Although he admitted it to no one, Master Miner Bertel held his highest hopes for journeyman Natalon and the group of hard-working miners he had inspired to join him. Natalon had shown a willingness to experiment, which would be required to successfully master the new art of deep shaft mining. He had enlisted watch-wers, hoping to use their abilities to detect tunnel snakes and bad air, both the explosive gases and the odorless, deadly carbon monoxide which could suffocate the unwary. From what Bertel had heard, the watchwares were something of a mystery, their abilities ignored as commonplace. Bertel planned on watching that camp carefully, particularly keeping an eye on the work of the watchwares and their bonded ware-handlers. Chapter 1. In early morning light I see a distant dragon come to me. Kindan was so excited that he practically bounced as he ran up to the heights where Camp Natalon kept its drum, fire beacon, and watch. "They're here! They're here!" Xenor shouted down at him. Needing no further urging, Kindan put on an extra burst of speed. Breathless, he joined his friend on the peak where they kept the watch. Looking down at the valley, he could plainly see the large drays rolling ponderously up toward the main camp. Leading them were the smaller but bright and cheerfully painted domicile wagons owned by the caravanners. From the watch heights, not only could he see all the way across the lake to the bend where the trail turned out of sight, but he could also see the fields on the far side of the lake, which had just been cleared, ready for their first planting of crops. Closer in, he could see where the trail forked, the more heavily traveled way heading up to the depot where the mined and bagged coal was stored, the lighter way leading toward the miners' houses on the near side of the lake. Most of the houses were in 3 rows, arranged in a U shape around a central square. The open, northern end of the U faced the road. It was there that smaller spice gardens had been planted, and it was in front of those, closer to the main square, that wedding preparations were in progress for Kindan's own sister's wedding. None of those houses were proper houses built to withstand